I want to talk about these coordinators.
Two grown-ass men, and you can... Let me tell you something.
So, the Eagles are in a unique situation. We got on one side the defensive coordinator, probably the most decorated, the most experienced coordinator in the NFL, one of the best defensive coordinators in NFL history in Vic Fangio. And on the other side, we got Sean Mannion, the youngest, most inexperienced offensive coordinator in history. So it's a tale of two takes, man. Two sides. It's kind of a lopsided situation if you think about it. But it's interesting. You know, we're going to go one way or another, one proven, one unproven. I want to talk about the details and what to expect from both these coordinators.
Welcome to Beyond the Nest 215.
So I want to start with the defense, okay? So we got one of, if not the youngest defense in the league. And they're not going to produce a lot of sacks. They're not going to lead the league in sacks. They're not going to lead the league in turnovers or anything like that. But what they do so well is they play together. The front seven rushes together, and they're very sound. They don't make a lot of mistakes in coverage. They force offenses to play perfect, to throw perfect balls, to throw on time. So they play very sound, which just tells you that they're coached up very well. So Vic Fangio aside, from the D-line coaches to the linebacker coaches, they're all in sync. So when you have a defense like that, it allows the coordinator to take more risk, to blitz more, to design more packages and take more risk with the formations because you have players that really play well together. And a lot of it is because, you know, we have all the UGA players that have been together for years. Then you have a lot of the young players, you know, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Zach Bond. They're entering year 3 together. So we're just bringing back a lot of players that have been in the same defense, which creates consistency. When you have consistency on one side of the ball, it usually leads to improvement, and it usually allows the coordinator to expand what you're able to do from a formation standpoint and scheme, and cause offenses to be really confused, not only at the line of scrimmage, but actually within the play itself. So we heard from Vic Fangio, and he mentioned that Cooper DeJean is going to play safety in base.
What's your view of the safety?
It's open. You know, I think Marcus is some that will have put up good claim to it. In base, it will be Cooper. You know, when we go to nickel and Coop comes up and plays nickel, you know, it'll be Epps. We're taking a good look at Michael Carter back there. Who else am I forgetting?
Now that is important because to me, there's not really much of a change. If somebody that doesn't follow the Eagles will say, oh, well, he's moving to safety. Cooper DeJean's superpower is the fact that he can play multiple positions. So he can be moved around and pretty much play the entire secondary if you need him to. That's great because what it does is it masks injuries. It allows him to fulfill spots if somebody's hurt or somebody is hurt for an extended period of time. And he can play every position from safety to nickel to cornerback 1 or 2 at an elite level. So there's no drop off. That's his superpower. He's pretty much the modern day Malcolm Jenkins for us. Malcolm Jenkins did the same thing for us. They even had him playing linebacker in the Super Bowl. So him playing safety in base, it just shows you that Vic has a lot of confidence in Tariq Woolen. Last year, the weakness was that cornerback 2 spot, where you had Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson, and they kind of got better as the season progressed, but it was the weakness. When you look at 2024, we had Darius Slay, big upgrade, and then when Darius Slay went out, we had other depth pieces that were able to supplement that. So now it's kind of the same situation. We have a lot of corners on this team, veteran corners that are going to be able to buffer injuries or certain spells. And what that does is it's going to allow Cooper DeJean to stay on the field and not only play nickel. So the fact that we were able to upgrade cornerback 2 it allows Cooper DeJean to stay on the field and not be only isolated to nickel corner. He's a great player. You want to keep great players on the field, period. You don't want them coming off the field for nothing, because that means you have lesser players on the field against other defenses. We also heard from Sean Mannion, and we got to be careful. We got to be careful with Sean Mannion.
Don't be sorry, ho, be careful, Lord.
Eagles fans, we've been burnt so bad by Kevin Patullo and other offensive coordinators that he could come out, he could have said anything, because the coordinators were so bad last year. He would have said anything. We would have thought he's the best thing since sliced bread. But
Oh my God! Wow!
Truth is, we don't know. What we do know is he wants to run a Shanahan-style offense, which is conducive to the run game and conducive to bringing in receivers that can separate. We already talked about this. But we don't know if he can call plays. We don't know if he can set up plays. We don't know if he can win chess matches in game and adjust in game in order to improve the offense and sustain the offense. We don't know that. We're not going to know that until we get to the season. Nobody's going to know that. Now, on the surface, he seems very creative. He seems very innovative. But until the bullets start flying and we're in a real game and he's playing chess back and forth with a Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan, other experienced coaches, we don't know how he's going to adapt in that situation. We can only hope. Now, we do have a veteran offense. We have a lot of We have great players that should be able to adapt to any scheme. But assuming that, considering what we had last year, we led the league in 3 and outs, which is crazy. That should never happen. We led the league in Saquon getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, which shows no innovation. You're just running the same plays, and defenses are keying in on what you're doing. Jalen did take care of the ball. He had his highest passing touchdowns for the season. But the offense just wasn't sustainable. We weren't able to adjust. We weren't able to adapt in game. We would go whole quarters, whole halves without first downs. That's crazy. So with Sean Mannion, we just got to be careful. We can all speculate. Hopefully we get to see him how he plays within preseason, so he can get, learn to adjust, learn to call plays. But he's just going to be learning on the job. It is what it is. And I would not be surprised if we see our defense dominate all summer, pretty much all training camp, because the offense is learning a new scheme. Not only that, but defenses usually trend forward. Defenses are usually ahead of the offenses in preseason, as well as training camp. So if we do see this, relax. Understand that our defense is really good. Mekhi Lemon, his first day in the office is going to be going against Cooper DeJean. He's probably going to get taken to school. Okay, Smitty and Quinyon going to battle out. That's going to be a match, just like AJ and Quinyon used to battle out. We have a really, really good defense that has been together. The core has been together for years. They've played at the highest level in national championships as well as the Super Bowl. So we have a really experienced, young, sound defense, and we have an offense still trying to find itself. So I would not be surprised if we see the defense dominate. Now, what we want to see is we want to see progression. We want to see the offense get better over time. We want to see the offense win some days, but it would not surprise me if Mekhi Lemon getting shut down by Cooper DeJean. It is what it is. So I would expect that. I would go into this summer expecting that and to just give it time. The offense is going to need time to develop, to understand what we're going to do. And we're also losing A.J. Brown. We're losing a great player. So that's going to hurt. There's no player we can bring in that's going to be able to mask and sugarcoat that. There's going to be an adaptation going on as we go to figure this thing out on the offensive side of the ball. It just is what it is. That's my 2 cents on the coordinators, sort of the brains behind the Eagles in the situation. We know Nick Sirianni, he's sort of hands off, That's how he's best utilized, being hands off. We don't want him involved at all. Vic Fangio, in my opinion, can do no wrong. Whatever he wants, get him what he wants. He's a made man in Philly, as far as I'm concerned. Sean Mannion, you got to prove yourself. Because if you don't, you're going to get fired. You heard what happened to the last offensive coordinator.
Y'all must ain't heard what happened to the last security guards they had around here.
What happened?
That's my 2 cents on the coordinators, sort of the brains behind the Eagles in the situation. We know Nick Sirianni, he's sort of hands off. That's how he's best utilized, being hands off. We don't want him involved at all. Vic Fangio, in my opinion, can do no wrong. Whatever he wants, get him what he wants. He's a made man in Philly, as far as I'm concerned. Sean Mannion, you got to prove yourself. Because if you don't, you're going to get fired. You heard what happened to the last offensive coordinator. He got his house egged and had rocks and eggs thrown at his house. You're going to get fired. And if this offense doesn't look good, there's going to be some real hard discussions to happen, unfortunately, in terms of the quarterback. Yep, in terms of Jalen Hurts, which I don't like that, but this is the offense they want to run. And Jalen Hurts needs to go out and show that he can run this offense. Or it's probably going to be Nick's job on the line. It's going to be Jalen's job on the line. Sean Mannion's job is going to be on the line. There's going to be some wholesale changes. And we know how the Eagles are. They are not a patient organization because of the pressure of the fans, because of the pressure of the media, just the pressure of the city that it puts on the team to win games and be successful. So there is pressure on that side of the ball. It is. The defense, I feel like they got to figure it out. The offense, we're going to have to just be patient and let this thing grow and develop, and let's see how it goes. But with that said, y'all know how I feel about time. Something you don't get back, so if you just give me a second, I appreciate you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. More to come.
Motherfucking pressure.
Coach! 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 Coach!